Hey, what's happening, fellow planeswalkers? Nerdy Jace here, and I'm back today with another Magic the Gathering Arena video. And today's video actually is going to be a deck profile. I haven't done a deck profile overall in quite a while, since my Union Arena days, and again, sadly, I haven't played Union Arena in quite a while. Again, work, life BS coming in the getting in the way, so I haven't done that in quite a while. But I thought I'd go ahead and show off, like I mentioned in my community post, TMNT Brawl deck list. So before we get into it, go ahead, you know the drill: like, subscribe, share. Prepare to leave some comments if you want. Get you a little snacky snacks going on. Tall beverage. I got me a big ass sweet tea and bourbon because it's been a hell of a day at work today. So I need a little something something. And yeah, we're going to get into the deck profile now. So again, like I've mentioned in a few videos, the Brawl game mode here on Arena has been my favorite. I really wish we got some kind of not necessarily ranked mode, but something to give us more like season rewards and stuff like standard, because really I don't care about standard that much, even though I do have some decent standard decks. But I love Brawl. I love the deck creativity with it. And yeah, so we got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set that just released, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun. And as you can see right here, my Brawl deck, and if you remember from, if you watched my last What's in the Box video, you know I got the Commander deck for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the commander that I'm running in here is the Heroes in a Half Shell right here, as you see, hopefully. It's very fun. The deck the commander isn't as impactful as Cosmic Spider-Man, aka Scions of the Earth Spider. It's not as game-changing, I guess I should say, but it's still a hell of a lot of fun. I have really enjoyed playing this deck here and there when I'm goofing around, and my dailies, kind of call for this type of format. But again, for this video, I wanted to focus just on the deck profile, because again, in my previous videos, like, I've gone into matches first and then also did the deck profile. It's kind of prolonged the video, whatever. I want to get just to the meat and potatoes in this one, and then in future videos go ahead and just do gameplay for this deck. But anywho, so like I said, this is a Wooburg commander, so that's white, blue, black, red, and green, and that's Heroes in a Half Shell. Bring it up right here. So it's a 5/5 legendary creature mutant ninja turtle. So the theme of this deck overall is mutant ninjas. Everything in here focuses on those two attributes for the most part. There's a couple, there's a few other cards that, kind of supplement that. Of course, you gotta have your mana dorks and things like that, but for the most part, it's mutant ninjas. So, the Heroes in a Half Shell, they're 5/5. They have Vigilance, Menace, Trample, and Haste. And whenever one or more mutants, ninjas, and or turtles you control deal combat damage to a player, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures, and then you draw a card. So, pretty damn good as a whole. Again, not as game breaking, game changing as let me bring it up. Not as game breaking as Scions of the Earth Spider, because again, when that comes into play, it's flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste, and then it gives all those all your spiders, your other spiders, all those abilities also. So again, it's not as game changing, but still it's cool in its own aspect. Again, getting those +1/+1 counters across the board and then drawing a card still isn't bad. I love the art for this card, very flavorful, so I really appreciate that. And again, for this deck in itself, I wanted for the most part to focus on the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards in general. I wanted that to be like the overall percentage of it. I do have some other cards in there to fit the archetypes, but for the most part, it's majority new stuff. So that was my main focus on it. And again, it's a hell of a lot of fun to play this. And again, you can do various options with it, because again, with all these Universes Beyond sets that have been coming out, again, love them or hate them, for the most part, I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to that argument or discussion, so to speak. There's a lot of flavorful and impactful cards in that. On the negative side, yes, there's too many goddamn legendary creatures. I get it. All these cards are iconic, whether it's Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, or Avatar. There's way too many legendary creatures. The legendary creatures should be, for the most part, rare, mythic, and that's it. Anything under that, uncommon, maybe to a certain extent some uncommons, not all of them, but anything under that should not be legendary. So you can add multiples to your deck and have it, you know, function or whatever. But I forgot where I was going with this discussion. Anywho, there's a lot of cool cards in here, and a lot of things to pull from to make your you know, your 99. So first up, actually let's start with the lands. So I kind of did something similar with my Spider-Man Brawl deck. I wanted to put as many triomes or triomes, however you say that, in. I have the shock lands plus the verges, and then a few other things sprinkled in there. I'm running one each of the basic lands. So again, Wooburg, white, blue, black, red, and green. And eventually I'm going to get the pizza lands when I save up the gold right here. I do want to put the pizza lands in there, but anywho, so one each of the basic lands. And then I got, of course, the Flood Farm Verge, and then the Hollow Fountain to get my blue-white, Bleachbone Verge, and Goblet Shrine for white-black, Gloom Lake Verge and Watery Grave for blue-black, River Pyre Verge and Steam Vents for blue-red, Blazemire Verge and Blood Crypt for black-red, or what I say, yeah, Verge and then Blood Crypt, blah, blah, blah. Overgrown Tomb and Wasteward Verge for black-green, Stomping Ground and Thornspire Verge for red-green, Sacred Foundry, Sunbillow Verge for white-red, Hushwood Verge and Temple Garden for green-white, Breeding Pool and Willow Rush Verge for blue-green. So again, getting the shocks and the verges all for that. Very, very good, in my opinion. And then as far as the triomes and towers and gardens and whatever, that whole thing, we'll go ahead and just lump them all into triomes. I have Rafine's Tower for blue, black, white. Again, this is just ones I already had. Zeatora's Proving Ground for red, black, green. Jetmir's Garden for red, green, white. Savai Triome for red, black, and white. Idatha Triome for black, green, and white. And then lastly, I have Rogrin Triome for red, blue, and white. And then my fetch lands, I have Arid Mesa, Marsh Flats, Misty Rainforest, Verdant Catacombs, and Wooded Foothills. And then my other lands to finish it out, because I'm running 40 lands in this deck. 38 to 40 is the good range for your Brawl decks. Normally, sometimes you can tempt fate and go to like 36, 37, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would say at least 38. But for the other lands, of course, I got Cavernous Souls. So with this, as the land enters, you choose a creature type. You tap it and you add a colorless, or you tap it and you add a mana of any color as long as it's the creature type that you mentioned. So for this deck in particular, again, we got Mutant Ninja Turtles as the main three, and there's a few other little archetypes in there. But for the most part, when you play this, in my opinion, what I do with this deck is I choose Ninja. I got more ninjas in here than mutants, although there are a decent amount of mutants in there. Overall, to get the most impact, ninjas are going to be better. So also with the Cavernous Souls, the creature spell that you cast with that creature to archetype, it can't be countered. So that's a big plus, especially in Brawl when you run against any kind of blue, because the motherfuckers in blue are going to run every goddamn counter spell in existence and then some, and it's a pain in the freaking ass. So Cavernous Souls is a must. And again, in my opinion, for how I play this deck, I choose Ninja. And then of course we got Command Tower. That, speaks for itself for any Brawl deck, any multicolor Brawl deck, I should say. And then from like my last two slots, those were open, in my opinion. Because again, let's see. I really like running Amonkhet Raceway. I love the that part of it to where you get the again, the actual ability is escaping me right now, but when you get max speed, that's what it is. When you get your full max speed, you tap it and you can give a creature haste. I love that card. Most of the time I run that in all my Brawl decks. I couldn't fit it into this one. I probably could by cutting something from the other 99, but I didn't really want to. So so there's that. But then I also wanted to run, typically I run like Mutavault, Valgavoss, was it Valgavoss Lair or whatever it's called, to give me an indestructible Rainbow Land. There's also Multiversal Passage, but I also wanted to keep, again, with the Ninja Turtle theme in here, so I went with the Turtle Lair, which is an uncommon in the set. So you tap it, you add a colorless mana. You can tap it to add a mana of any color as long as you spend it for a ninja or a turtle. And then you can pay 3, tap it, target ninja, turtle, can't be blocked this turn. So that can get your sneak stuff, which we'll go into with the deck profile and other things. So again, I want to put that in there. And then also, I really like the Northampton Farm. That's April O'Neil's ancestral homelands or whatever. That's the house that she grew up in or whatever. So again, I wanted to keep with the overall theme of Ninja Turtles. So with it's a nice rare also. So you tap it for a colorless mana. You can pay 1 and tap it to exile a target creature you own. And then for 2 mana, you tap, sacrifice the farm, and then you return a creature card exile with this card to the battlefield. And then each other card exile with this land you bring to your hand. So if there's going to be, you know, if there's targeted removal to one of your cards, or if there's a board wipe, things like that, you can save one of those cards and then later on bring it back to the battlefield to, you know, beat face and all that. So very good card. And again, I wanted to keep with that Ninja Turtles theme right here. So that's all the lands. Again, 40 lands in this deck. Feel free to, you know, tweak the formula to your specific wants, needs, desires, whatever. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the other 99, so to speak. I guess technically that'd be what, the 59, since the land of the 40. But anywho, 0 to 1 drops. So starting off with the deck, we have Mox Amber, a 0 cost legendary artifact. You tap it, it's basically a mana dork. So you tap it, you add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. So I don't have well, actually no, I take that back. I have I have 2 planeswalkers in here, and that's both Kato because he's a ninja. But other than that, I have a bunch of legendary creatures because, again, all, for better or for worse, nearly all of the cards in Universes Beyond are legendary. So that's going to give me any mana for Wooburg to get my commander out, and so on and so forth. Next up is a very good artifact in this deck, and that's Quintessential Katana. It's a 1 white mana cost. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals combat damage, you untap it and you gain 2 life. And the good thing about this, again, because it's a ninja turtle deck, a ninja mutant turtle deck first, whenever a ninja you control enters, you can attach this equipment to it. So that includes sneak, ninjutsu, whatever. You can equip this to it if you want. And it has a normal equip cost of 2. So very good card, very good uncommon, in my opinion. And then I have Changeling Outcast, 1 black, a 1/1 Changeling. So again, that's mutant, ninja, turtle, whatever, it's all that. Can't block and can't be blocked. So again, the purpose of this is basically to get the sneak ninjutsu cards through to your opponent, so then you can swap it out and do extra shenanigans. But very good uncommon. If you're running any kind of tribal deck, definitely include this in it if you have black in your tribal. Can't go wrong with it. And then of course the normal mana dork, Birds of Paradise. You tap it for any color mana. And then let's go ahead and go with the other mana dorks right here in the 1 drops. We've got Delighted Halfling. You tap it to add a colorless, or you can tap it to add a Wooburg mana as long as it's going towards a legendary creature. And then it's a mini Cavern of Souls. That spell can't be countered. It's a 1/2 creature. You got Ignoble Hierarch, which taps for black, red, green. And then Noble Hierarch, which taps for green, white, blue. That's all the colors right there between the 2. And it also gives Exalted. So for those of you that don't know, Exalted, whenever you attack with a creature by itself, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each Exalted instance that are on the board. So in this case, it would get +2/+2 if you only attack with 1 creature. And then rounding out our 1 drops, we got the Sorcery Cowabunga. So with it, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, you can reveal a mutant, ninja, turtle, or land from among them, you put it into your hand, and then the rest go on the bottom of your library in any order. So again, it's just picking out whatever piece that you need right then and there. And then lastly, I finally added this to the collection. I remembered when I had a spare rare wild card, and that's the Ozolith. Very good card if you're running any kind of counter deck. So again, it costs 1 legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had any kind of counters on it, so that's +1/+1, -1/-1, trample, haste, lifelink, death touch, whatever. When they leave, you can put those counters onto the Ozolith. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if Ozolith has counters on it, you may remove all counters from Ozolith to target creatures. So again, you can put all your +1/+1 counters onto another creature, indestructible, lifelink, death touch, whatever. You can do that. Or if you had a bunch of -1, -1 counters, you can put that onto your opponent's creatures and, you know, kill it, weaken it, whatever. Very good card. Again, I've been meaning to add this to my repertoire for quite a while, but then to kind of quote Spock, the needs of the many of my, you know, quote unquote brawl decks outweighed the needs of the few, whatever. But I finally remembered to add this to the deck when I had a spare one, and again, it's gangbusters in this type of deck. So yeah, very, very good card to have in here. All right, so we're going to the 2-drops now. Starting off, we got Leonardo, Cutting Edge. He's a 1/1 for 2, has a sneak cost of 1, and Leo has lifelink, or this Leo has lifelink. And then whenever you gain a life, you put a +1/+1 counter on Leo. So again, you're just pumping his ass up to get those big swings in. And then again, when he dies, all those counters go on to Ozolith, which then goes on to other creatures. So very good. Excuse me, very good investment in those two. Next up, I have Dokuchi Silencer, a 2/1 for 2, a black and a colorless. He has ninjutsu for the same cost. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may discard a card, and then if you do, you destroy target creature or planeswalker that opponent or that player controls. So again, that's just spot removal for potentially the ninjutsu cost. Pretty decent uncommon in my opinion. And again, you know, keeping in with the ninja theme, the overall ninja theme for this deck. So very good card. And then I have Nezumi Prowler, 3/1 for 2, and then his ninjutsu cost is also 2. When the Prowler enters, which he's a rat ninja, you put a death touch and lifelink counter on target creature control. So it can be the Prowler itself, or, you know, one of your other several dozen creatures that you have. So again, very, very nice card, especially for a 2-cost uncommon. You get the value out of it. Then I got Splinter Hamato Yoshi. So Splinter is a 1/3 for 2, and then he has a sneak cost of 1, and also has menace. And he is going to be our ninja tribal chief, so to speak. He gives other ninjas you control +1/+1. So again, he's pumping up damn near everything in the deck. So that's awesome in itself. Really like the art. I love the busted up Mausers in the background because Splinter's a badass. And again, just the value for the mana cost is great. The next card is fucking phenomenal. Whether it's here in Brawl, pretty much any game mode, this card is fucking great. And that is Super Shredder. So he's a mythic mutant ninja human. 1/1 for 2. He has menace. Whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, so that's yours or your opponent's, you put a +1/+1 counter on Super Shredder. So he's going to be a beefy motherfucker, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that's whether they're popping mutagen counters, they're popping map tokens, spot removal, fetch lands, whatever, any of that shit leaves the battlefield. Also your mobilize, whatever. He gets a +1/+1 counter, and he has menace. That's freaking great. It sucks that he immediately gets targeted, but if he goes a couple turns without being targeted, that gets out of hand quick, and you know, you could just pound face to your opponent. So very, very fucking good card in the Ninja Turtle set. Next up, I got Raphael, Tough Turtle. So as a whole, I think Raph has the most card count as far as my build of this deck. I have more Raphs in the deck, and then I think it's Michelangelo after that, then Leo, then Donnie. Because I don't know, for what I was going for in this deck, Raph had the better effects overall across all his cards. But again, tweak the deck to your personal play style, how you feel or whatever, or again, your favorites out of whatever you have. And then again, you know, leave some comments, you know, saying, you know, why you did X, Y, and Z and things like that. You know, again, I would love to engage with you about stuff like that. Anywho, Raphael, Tough Turtle, he's a 1/3 for 2. He has Alliance. So whenever another creature you control enters, Raph deals 1 damage to target opponent. So again, that's a mini impact tremors. You know, you bring any of these other things out, he's pinging your opponent. Good value out of that, and that's a common. That's a common out of the Ninja Turtle set. So then next up, I got another Mana Dork, and that's of course Bloom Tender. I went with the Lorwyn art with this. I like that better. 1/1 with Vivid, so you tap it. For each color among permanents you control, you add a mana of that color. So again, you can add up to 5 extra mana. And that of course helps you cast your commander or whatever else. Again, for the most part, you know, you don't even really need to cast your commander. That's just a little extra icing on the cake for that. But anywho, again, just very good Mana Dork in the deck overall. And then of course I got Farseek, and this is the Newfound Adventures from the Final Fantasy set. 2 cost, sorcery, you search your library for a plain, island, swamp, or mountain, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle. So again, you're popping that out to get basically one of your triomes. Because again, the triomes produce 3 mana. That again goes towards anything in your deck, plus your Wooburg commander. Fucking great card. Next up, another Mana Dork. So he's just a frog spirit, but he's still in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set, and again, just a great Mana Dork. He's a 1/1 with Death Touch. You tap him to add 1 mana any color, and then for 2 mana, he gains reach until end of turn. So again, if you have a problematic flyer from your opponent coming at you, you can give him Death Touch, boom, deal with the problem. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But again, mostly using him for being a Mana Dork. You can also throw in some fight cards if you want to for Frog Butler and do it like that. So again, he just deals 1 damage, and that kills the opponent. That kills the extra creature. So again, very good card, and at a common. So I really like that. Next up, I got Michelangelo the Heart. So this is a mythic from the the bonus sheet basically it comes from the commander deck. So when you go to your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set, you can set it for you can do the filter for commander, and all of them should pop up. You can use it for that. But Michelangelo the Heart, he's a 2/1 with trample for 2 mana, and he has Raid the Fridge. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you attack this turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and you create a food token. Very good card for the value. Again, most of the time he'll get targeted first because he's a very powerful card, but you know, if he stays on board for a little bit, you know, that could set up your own board state pretty quick. And he also has the partner character select ability, so with that, you can, that's part of the thing where you can have 2 commanders as long as they both have character select. So you know, you could tweak your decks for that. Again, I wanted to have the Wooburg with Heroes in a Half Shell, but you know, again, use your other combinations, and let me know in the comments what you do with, say, Michelangelo or some of these other cards that also have the partner character select feature. Then we got another Michelangelo. He is a rare from the regular set, Michelangelo Weirdness to 11. He's a 1/1 for 2, and when he enters, you create a mutagen token. So a mutagen token is a token artifact. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice the token. You put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. The only drawback is you can only activate this as a sorcery, but you know, you gotta have some checks and balances there. So when Mikey enters, you create the mutagen token, and then if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, you put that many +1/+1 counters +1 instead. So you're getting more value for your counters. Again, Mikey Weirdness to 11 usually always gets targeted right then and there, but if you can, you know, get them on board, do at least 1 or 2 mutagen or other counter shenanigans, you're already paying for itself. And of course, on the card art, you see there he has the it looks like the ball and scythe combination instead of the normal nunchuck or the grappling hook that we got in later seasons of the TMNT cartoon. So whatever, very, very good card. And then another very, very good card is the mythic Dark Leo and Shredder. So he costs 2 plain and a swamp, 1/3 with sneak for the same mana value. Dark Leo and Shredder give attacking ninjas you control death touch. Very good with just that right there. But then whenever Dark Leo and Shredder deal combat damage to your player, you create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. So you're creating a foot soldier basically. And then, as if that wasn't awesome enough, if you have 5 or more ninjas, which again, the majority of this deck is ninjas, target player loses half their life rounded up. That's fucking great. So again, I say, you know, how cards like Super Shredder, Mikey Weirdness to 11, whatever, get targeted immediately. Damn sure Dark Leo and Shredder get targeted, because with that bottom effect, that can fuck your opponent up quick, fast, and in a hurry. So awesome card. I love it. As you know from my pack openings for this set, I went ahead and got a set of Dark Leo because, again, I want to take advantage of this in Standard also. I've been lazy, haven't made that deck yet, but when it comes, I'm going to make it. Great card. And again, I'm going to harp back to one of my earlier videos. If you haven't already, read the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics. They are fucking great. Again, I'm going to leave a link in the description to my video that I did covering the sets that I have on there. But it is an awesome series, and it kind of reimagines some of the old lore from the comics, cartoons, and whatever. It is awesome, and Dark Leo and Shredder is part of that. It's great. Highly recommend. Check it out. Check out that video, and then go buy that shit from either online places or your local comic store first, and then if nothing else, your online sources after that. You will, if you're a Turtles fan, you will not regret that. And if you do, you need to reevaluate if you're a Turtles fan, because again, it's fucking great. All right, so next up, I got another Kamigawa's card, and this is Silver Fur Master. So it's another rat ninja. Surprisingly enough, he's not a legendary. But anywho, so he costs 2 mana, a blue, and a black. He's a 2/2 with Ninjutsu 1. Ninjutsu abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate, and then he's another a chief. Other ninja and rogue creatures you control get +1/+1. So I really don't know how many rogues I have in the deck, but again, the majority of the deck's ninja. So between him and Splinter Hamatoyoshi, your cards are getting your ninjas are getting +2/+2. Great card. And at an uncommon, so very good. Next up, we got Mikey and Leo, Chaos and Order. So again, he costs any combination of white and green, 2 white, 2 green, 1 each, whatever. 2/2. Whenever you put a counter on a creature you control, you draw a card, and this can only be activated once per turn. So again, between all the Mugen tokens and things like that, Ozolith, whatever, you're going to be drawing the cards. Next up, we got Genghis Frog. He's a 1/3 frog mutant rogue. He has trample. Whenever Genghis Frog or another mutant you control enters, you create another mutagen token. So again, you're getting those mutagen tokens, you're pumping up your other creatures when you sacrifice them, things like that. You're just getting all kinds of value for this. And again, he's an uncommon. That's very good in my opinion. Very, very good. And of course, a staple in your Brawl decks, Arcane Signet. 2-cost artifact, you tap it. You add a mana of any color that is in your commander's color identity. And again, for this instance, it's Wooburg, white, blue, black, red, green. And then we have Metallic Mimic. Again, he's been in several of my other decks, so you should know this already. 2/1. When he pops into play, you choose a creature type. You want to choose Ninja. So he's a ninja in addition to his other types, which is Shapeshifter. Each other creature you control of the chosen type enters with an additional +1/+1 counter. So any ninja that you drop on the board, it gets a +1, at least one +1/+1 counter. Awesome card. And again, that typically gets targeted really quick because again, it's very powerful for the costs and all that stuff. And then next up is another really, really great card, and that is the Ooze. So again, that's in the TMNT set. It's a legendary artifact. It's a rare. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter leaves the battlefield, you create a mutagen token for each +1/+1 counter on it. That is fucking powerful as fuck. You know, because again, between that, if you have Mikey Weirdness to 11. You're getting additional counters on that. When they leave, you get that ability plus the Ozolith. You're getting all kinds of value for that. Fucking great artifact. And then you tap it, you exile a card from a graveyard, so that's yours or your opponent's. You create a Mugen token. Awesome card, and it's only a rare. Only a rare. Awesome. This card needs to be in like every deck. It's that fucking good. Anywho, but lastly, rounding out our 2-drops, and this is a 2-drop X card. And that is Mutagen Man Living Ooze. Again, I'm sure I mentioned that this in my pack opening video for the set, but again, I love the flavor from this. So much great flavor from the decades of lore from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, from the original comics to the umpteen whatever, well, other comics, but the cartoon series and the games and stuff. So fucking flavorful. It's great. And again, I'm gonna go off on another tangent. Again, the universes beyond sets have been very divisive. I've mentioned that in multiple videos. But, well, again, I see both sides of it. And I agree with arguments on both sides of it. But for things like this, Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, you know, Avatar, I'm not invested in Avatar, as I mentioned before when I was doing openings and stuff for that. But again, the flavor there is so good when they want to put the effort into it. So out of the more recent universes beyond, this is my top set. I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as my number 1. Tied for number 2 is Spider-Man again. I don't know if you can see my tattoo right there. I'm biased for Spider-Man. You should know this. For, you know, if you follow my channel from the beginning, you know I'm a huge fucking Spider-Man nerd. Love Spider-Man, but my second is Spider-Man and Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy has some great flavorful cards also. One of the top sets here recently. And then my but Reality, again, as much as I love Spider-Man, it has its faults. I've mentioned that multiple times. Final Fantasy is better than Spider-Man. Yes, it is. But I like Spider-Man better because, again, that's my jam. And then, you know, Avatar has some great shit in it, but from a fandom's perspective, I'm not as invested in that. But the universes beyond, they have some good stuff in it. So again, I'm on both sides of the argument. But again, Mutagen Man, that fits into that Living Ooze. So 2 forests and then X is a 2/3 with trample. Activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost 1 less to activate. So that is Mugen tokens, as you see right there. That's map tokens. That's clue tokens. That's a bunch of other stuff. Knocks it down by 1. So basically, your Mugen's free. Your clues are, what, down to 1. Your map tokens are free, whatever. And then when Mugen Man enters, you create X Mugen tokens, depending on what you pay. Fucking great card! Great card for, you know, essentially 2 mana, and he's a rare. He is a freaking rare. That's great. Great card. And again, you can plug him into any green deck, basically. So good. Alright, so now we're going to get to the 3-drops. And starting us off, there is going to be the Human Ninja Prosperous Thief. And that's an alchemy card. Again, for the most part, I hate alchemy, but there's a few cards in that I do include in my Brawl decks. It is what it is. So again, for 3 mana, 1 blue and 2 colorless, He's a 2/4 human ninja. Ninjutsu costs for 2. Whenever one or more ninja or rogue creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you get a treasure token. Treasure tokens are always great because that's free mana. Free mana to, make, to drop any of your other stuff on here. So very, very good. And again, at uncommon. If you haven't crafted this yet, craft it now. For, your anything that you run with blue and, anything that's not standard. Great card. Then I got Donatello the Brain. So again, this is a Ninja Turtle bonus sheet / commander deck, whatever card. So you have to go, you have to specifically search for it to get him. But he's a 2/4 for 3, of course. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus a mutagen token are created instead. So again, you're getting extra mutagen tokens, you're getting clue tokens and a mutagen, you're getting map tokens and a mutagen, you're getting treasure tokens and a mutagen, whatever. You're getting extra stuff. And then he also has the partner character select. Very good card. Again, and it's just a great card for the 99. And then I got the uncommon Donatello Way with Machines, who is a 1/2 flyer. Whenever an artifact you control enters, so again, that's your mutagen tokens, that's your Ozolith, that's your Metallic Mimic, your Ooze, your Arcane Signets, whatever. Map tokens. You put a +1/+1 counter on this Donatello, so he's just becoming a bigger flying beater for your opponent. Very good. And again, at uncommon. So not a bad uncommon, especially since he's a 3 cost. If he was less than that, then yeah, definitely he'd need to be at least a rare or whatever. But a very solid card, because again, you're going to be creating a bunch of mutagen tokens at the very least with this deck. So he's going, as long as he stays on the deck, or not on deck, but as long as he stays on the battlefield, he's going to get pumped up. Very, very good. Very good cost to mana, whatever. Then we got our first, because yeah, I want to say I'm only running 2 planeswalkers. Yeah. So first 2 planeswalkers, and again, both of them are Kato's. So this is Kato Cunning Infiltrator. Again, costs 3. Comes into play with 3 loyalty counters. And whenever a creature control deals combat damage to a player, you put a loyalty counter onto Kato. So again, that's also, depending on what other cards that you have on your battlefield, that's creating an additional counter, whether it's mutagen or whatever as well. So again, getting that awesome value with the synergies and stuff. So +1, up to 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. You draw a card and then discard a card. You get balance. For -2 loyalty counters, you create a 2/1 blue ninja creature. Blue ninja creature token. And then for -9 counters, you get an emblem that says whenever a player casts a spell, you create a 2/1 blue ninja. You're never going to get to -9 ever, but it's there for, that awesome ass ability. So who knows, maybe you do some proliferating or whatever, you can do that. But again, that's just basically you put him on board, you create the other ninja token, or you just kind of randomly +1 again to draw focus from your opponent to him to get him off the board, and then your other shit can get in and wreak havoc. Next up, I have Throat Seeker. This is a 3/2 vampire ninja. Unblocked ninjas you control have lifelink, so that's sneak, ninjutsu, whatever. When that gets in there, you get life back. That's always good. And again, he's uncommon. Great card for the value, in my opinion. And again, overall, probably the best shapeshifter in the game is Tarian Mauler from, again, the original Lorwyn block way back in the day. He was in Morning Tide. He's a 2/2 changeling. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So again, he's a mutant, he's a ninja, he's a turtle, he's a whatever. He's getting those abilities, plus he's getting pumped up from your other shit in the deck. Fucking great card for the value. Awesome. Awesome addition to any tribal card as long as you're running red. Add them to your decks. Alright, and then we got Michelangelo Game Changer. This is an uncommon from the regular TMNT set. He's a 3/3 with Disappear. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control, so that's permanent. So that's mutagen tokens, it's map tokens, that's clue tokens, that's any other kind of token, mobilize, whatever. If you blink anything from your board, whatever, as long as a permanent left your battlefield, that's also your fetch lands, a whole wide variety of stuff. As long as they entered, or as long as they left the battlefield under your control this turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on this Michelangelo. So again, you're pumping his ass up to be a big ass beater that your opponent has to deal with. Whether it's a chump block or whatever, they have to come to him, and then your other shit can get through, whatever. Again, in my opinion, great card for the value that you're putting out there. Next up, I got another mana dork, and that's Mona Lisa Science Geek. She is a 1/3 with reach, and she is a lizard mutant. You tap her to add X mana of any color, where X is Mona Lisa's power. So again, you can throw some random mutagen tokens on her just to get some extra mana on her. But again, she is a normal mana dork, and again, she has reach. So again, if you're in a pinch, you can use her to block flyers or whatever. So good card for, again, the mana cost. Next up, I got another, again, flavorful card in the TMNT universe, and that is Karai, Future of the Foot. She is a 3/3 human ninja that's, white, black, and a colorless. The sneak cost 4. So whenever Karai deals combat damage to a player, you return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. But if you play your sneak cost instead, that returns to the battlefield. So again, you're getting a very, you're getting good value from her. Whether again it's just normal summoning her or doing the sneak. So again, very good card, and at an uncommon. So awesome. And then I got another Splinter card. So this is Splinter Radical Rat. This one is a 2/4. So here's the thing. And again, this is rare, so it's going to be more powerful. If an ability of a ninja you control triggers, that ability triggers twice. So that is Michelangelo, Weirdness to 11. That's Dark Leo and Shredder. That's your Katos. That's your Donatellos. That's your Mikey or Raphaels. That's all that stuff. As long as it's a ninja, it doubles it. Fucking great. Awesome card. And then on top of that, for 2 other mana, a blue and a colorless, target ninja can't be blocked this turn. So again, that's getting your sneak in there if you want. That's getting your Dark Leo in there to potentially half your opponent's life total and stuff. Awesome card. Awesome card. For 3 mana. And then we got Raph and Leo, Sibling Rivals. 2/4. When they attack, if it's a first combat phase of the turn, you untap 1 or 2 target attacking creatures. After that, there's an additional combat phase. So again, you swing in, then you untap any 1 or 2 other stuff, and then you get another attack phase to get some other stuff in, whether it's sneak, ninjutsu, whatever. Great value for 3 mana. Awesome. Again, it's a 2/4, so with that 4 toughness, it can typically survive an attack. Awesome card. Again, really like the art. And again, like I said in my last video, overall, I don't particularly care for Raph with a full head bandana, but whatever. Next up, another staple, in my opinion, of any kind of tribal deck, and that is Adaptive Automaton. 3 costs for 2/2. When it enters, you choose a creature type. Again, for this deck, for how I built the deck, you want to choose Ninja. So it's a ninja in addition to other stuff, and then other ninjas you control get +1/+1 again. So again, it's just pumping up damn near everything in the fucking deck. Great card. And in that same vein, of course, Patchwork Banner. So it's a mana dork artifact / tribal. When it enters, you choose your card. Again, you choose Ninja. Other ninjas you control will get +1/+1, and then you tap it for mana. Straightforward, awesome card, fucking great. All right, 4 drops, and I have the mythic Leonardo Sewer Samurai. So this Leo is 3/3 with a sneak cost of 4 also. He has double strike, so again, double strike's great. Deals first strike and then regular damage, of course. But with him, during your turn, you may cast creature spells with power and toughness of 1 or less from your graveyard. If you cast a spell this way, that creature gets a finality counter. So finality counter, as you can see right here on screen, if a permanent with a finality counter on it would go to the graveyard, you exile it instead. Now, from last count I did with this, there was like 20, I think it was 20 targets just for this Leo. So that is great value overall for this deck, because again, that hits your mana dorks, that hits your normal stuff, whatever. Great card. And he, of course, is a mythic, but again, well worth it in my opinion. All right, and then I have, there we go, Leonardo the Balance. Again, Leo the Balance is in the specifically in the commander deck. And bring that up there. The Turtle Power commander deck. So he's a 3/3. Whenever a token you control enters, so that's mutagen, map, clue, lifelink, death touch, indestructible, whatever. Whenever a token you control enters, that's also mobilize, anything else, whatever, with Elsbeth or so on and so forth. Whenever that token enters, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Each. So that's anything that you have on fucking board. But you can only do this once per turn. And then for Wooburg, that's again white, blue, black, red, green. You tap that. Creatures you control gain menace, trample, lifelink until end of turn. Freaking powerful. And again, that's just, if nothing else, that's giving you the lifelink to pump your life total up, survive longer, whatever. And of course, he's another partner character select commander, so you can pair him to anything else that also has character select. Opens up the possibilities, but again, with this particular deck, with the Heroes in the Half Shell, we're getting the other abilities. Great card. Great card. So this next card, so Phoenix Fleet Airship. So like I said before, for this deck, I wanted to keep the overall theme with just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. But having said that, because again, I wanted to work in the Turtle Blimp, but Phoenix Fleet Airship is better in that aspect and does more with the overall well, not overall theme, but what the deck is doing itself. It just works better. So really, you can say this is the actual Turtle Blimp, because again, so it's a 4/4 flying artifact vehicle for a crew of 1. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrifice a permanent this turn, you create a token that's a copy of this vehicle. So again, you're going to be sacrificing mutagen tokens, possibly clue tokens, possibly map tokens, whatever. There's other if you somehow get a mobilized thing or whatever, you're going to be sacrificing something to activate, to proc this ability. So again, it's overall better than the Turtle Blimp. I'm sorry to say, again, I wanted to be able to work Turtle Blimp in here, but Phoenix Fleet Airship is the better option in how I have this deck built. And then again, it's the last part of this deck, or not the deck, but the last part of this card. As long as you control 8 or more permanents that are named Phoenix Fleet Airship, that becomes an artifact creature. So again, you're getting a shitload of Turtle Blimps and you're hitting at face at your opponent. Awesome card for this overall deck, because again, you're going to be popping those mutagen tokens when you get them, and that just procs it. But again, you only have to do one, and it gets that ability. So again, great card in this build, how I have it built. And then next up, I got the rare Shark Shredder Killer Clone. So again, 4 costs. It's a 4 cost slot or column, whatever. He's a 4/4 Shark Octopus Ninja. Something I never thought I would say. Shark Octopus Ninja. But he has a sneak cost of 5. So Shark Shredder is a first strike creature. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, put up to 1 target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and then it enters tapped and attacking that player. Great card for that. Again, you want to try and get him to sneak in, or use things like was it Turtle Lair or whatever, to get him in there and get that free damage and then hit that second ability. Pretty cool. I think I've only in my play testing of the deck, I think I've only had that happen like once, maybe twice, before either my opponent conceded or they spot removed it. But again, it's there if needed. So very cool card. Potential finisher. So again, more Raphael cards, because like I said, for how I built the deck, I think Raphael, his overall abilities fit more with what I was going for. And this is Raphael Most Attitude. So this one is a 4/3 with Menace. So again, Menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. He also has Alliance, so whenever another creature you control enters, you may exile the top card of your library, and then whenever this Raphael attacks, until in a turn you can play that exile card. Again, not really using him for that aspect, more so for the menace, because again, you can use the menace into sneak, and that's more so what I was going for with him. So good card. And then we have Raph, Ninja Destroyer, 4/4. This Raph must be blocked if able. I think he also has Enrage, so whenever this Raphael is dealt damage, you add that many red mana to your mana pool, and then until in a turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases in. So again, that's floating in your mana pool, and then you get to cast extra shit. So very, very good card, especially for it being a mythic card. And then we got Raphael, the Night Watcher. So this one is a 2/3 with a sneak cost of 3. And Raphael, the Night Watcher, gives attacking creatures you control double strike. That's potentially can be brutal to your opponent, because double strike is fucking hardcore, man. It can be. So again, very good card, especially at rare. Then I got Michelangelo Improviser, so 4/4 with a sneak cost of 4. Also, whenever Michelangelo deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature or a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's a land or anything else, as long as it's a creature from your hand, you're getting all kinds of value from that. Again, it costs 4 mana, but still, that is awesome value. 2 for 1. Great. Next up in the 4 costs column, I got Leatherhead, Swamp Stalker. Leatherhead is a 5/4 with trample, and Leatherhead enters with a hexproof counter on her. And again, in this universe, Leatherhead is a chick. Cool. I want to say OG Leatherhead was a dude. Whatever. I don't care. Leatherhead's friggin' cool. A big badass fucking alligator, or I'm sorry, crocodile. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Chick, dude, whatever. Fucking cool. So then, whenever Leatherhead deals combat damage to a player, you can remove a counter. A counter. So that's not necessarily the hexproof. That could be a mutagen counter. That could be a blight counter. That can be indestructible, first strike, lifelink, whatever. A counter. Remove a counter from her. When you do, you destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. So again, that's spot removal for your authoritative consoles, for any other kind of artifact or enchantment that your opponent has. Very good, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. Very good ability, because again, that trample, normally that trample damage gets through at least 1 point, and then you can do that. Very good. Very freaking good. Next up, I got the uncommon Michelangelo Mutant Best Friend Forever. 4/4. And then each creature you control with a counter on it can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. So again, mutagen, any other kind of +1/+1 counter, blight token, indestructible, first strike, death touch, lifelink, flying, whatever. If it has a token on it, it cannot be blocked by more than 1 creature. And then whenever Michelangelo enters or attacks, you get a mutagen token. So then you can perpetuate that. Fucking great. And that's an uncommon. An uncommon for 4 that does all that. Great, in my opinion. Alright. And then we got my second Planeswalker in this deck. And again, like I said before, it's a Kato. And this is Kato, Bane of Nightmares from Duskmourn. So, legendary Planeswalker Kato, of course. He has a ninjutsu cost of 3. Comes in with 4 loyalty counters. During your turn, as long as Kato has one or more loyalty counters on him, he is a 3/4 ninja. that has hexproof. Fucking great. Great. You give him a +1 counter. You get an emblem with ninjas you control, get +1/+1. So again, that's pretty much what you're going to be doing with him. You don't give a shit about his other ones. You just want to keep getting those ninja counters to pump up everything else in this fucking deck. Yeah. So again, most of the time when you drop him, you're going to get the one emblem and then he's going to get targeted. But even that one emblem, just that one, is such a game changer. So good in this freaking deck. So good. So that's his +1 ability. So for 0, you surveil 2, so you look at top 2 cards of your deck, and then you can put them into your graveyard or the top of your library in any order. So you surveil 2, then you draw a card for each opponent who lost life this turn. So again, you attack in first or do other things, and then you use that ability. So you can draw 1. And then for -2 loyalty counters, you can tap target creature and you put 2 stun counters on it. So that's good in itself. But again, you're wanting to do the +1 to keep getting to keep pumping up all your ninjas in this deck. And again, potentially attack with him as long as you get those free attacks. Because again, you don't want him to get spot removal or whatever. Even though he has hexproof, there's still those other things that they can do. Then we have Mikey and Don Party Planners. So they are a 3/3 with Ward 2. So you have to your opponent will have to pay 2 mana in addition to whatever else to target them. So you can look at the top card of your library at any time. And then you can play lands or cast mutant, ninja, or turtle spells from the top of your library. If you cast a creature spell this way, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. But if you have, say, this Michelangelo out or Splinter, sorry, not that Splinter. Where are you at? This Splinter out, you're getting an additional trigger for that. So you're getting +2/+2, potentially +3, whatever. Very powerful. Again, with the synergy. And that's it. Again, very good rare card in my opinion. And lastly, to round out our 4 drops is, again, a staple in any tribal deck in my opinion, and that's Roaming Throne. 4-cost artifact creature golem, 4/4 with Ward 2. As Roaming Throne enters, you choose a creature type. Again, for this particular deck, you want to choose Ninja. If a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. So again, you're getting multiple triggers of Mikey, Splinter, whatever. Fucking great. Great. Again, so much fun, so much flavor to this whole thing. It's awesome. In my opinion, again, I'm biased because I made this. It's great. Alright, so now we're at the tail end of this video. So we're going into the 5 and then the 6+ drop columns of this. I'm just going to go through all of them at once. So we have, first off, Raphael the Muscle. Again, this is a bonus sheet. I say bonus sheet, but bonus sheet, it's not bonus sheet. Bonus sheet. You want to filter to commander and then choose him with your mythic wild card. Four for 5. Double all damage that creatures you control with counters on them would deal. So again, that's +1/+1. That's Blight, flying, lifelink, death touch, first strike, double strike, whatever. As long as it has a counter on it, your damage gets doubled. And then when Raphael the muscle enters, you get a MtG token, and he has partner character select. So again, if you don't want to run heroes in the half shell like I did with this, again, because I wanted to get the Wooburg, all the variety in there, you're getting other combinations: red, black, red, white, red, blue, green, whatever. Awesome. Great card. Very, very powerful. And again, especially for 5 mana, that's awesome. Because again, with this deck, we're creating an abundance of MtG tokens. So there is going to be a +1/+1 token, or there's going to be a token on something between all the other stuff. And then again, with Ozolith, because I can put any kind of token, or I can put any kind of counter on other stuff, this ability is going to trigger. So good. So good. And then for the 5 drops, I have the uncommon Venus Torn Between Worlds. So, pause right there. Again, sweet tea and bourbon. So good. So again, Venus is a character that was created for the live action, was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Next Mutation series. Overall, that series is fucking trash. She eventually pops up into other comics and games or whatever, but whatever. In this case, she's pretty fucking cool. She's pretty cool. Again, 5 drop for a 5/5 mutant frog ninja. Whenever Venus is dealt combat damage, you put that many +1/+1 counters on her. But the caveat is she has to survive the damage in order to get a counter. So again, so you can like chunk block with her and then pump her up more or whatever. And then whenever a creature you control with counters deals combat damage to a player, you can pay an island. And then if you do, you draw a card. So pretty cool. I get why she's in a common, again, because that's a 5 cost for all that stuff. But overall pretty cool, especially for, you know, what's going on in this deck. And again, like I said, I wanted to put as much TMNT set stuff in here as possible to get the flavor and all that in there. But again, that's a very powerful card. Next up, we got the awesome mythic rare or mythic enchantment saga, and that is the Cloning of Shredder. So again, costs a bunch, costs 6 mana, but for phase 1, you exile target creature card from your graveyard. You create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary and is a mutant in addition to its other types. So again, for the most part, you want to choose, say, Super Shredder, Splinter Hamata-Yoshi, whatever. You choose something else to keep getting the onboard, the blink effect, or not blink effects, the enter the battlefield effects and stuff. So that's phase 1. Then phase 2 and 3, you create a token that's a copy of the card that you just chose, except it isn't legendary and it's a mutant in it on top of that. So again, you're just stacking the layers of that. So you're hitting the triggers each time, and you're just pumping the shit up more. So again, very good card. Very freaking good card, especially in limited for your drafts and stuff, whatever. This is an awesome fucking card. Awesome. Next up, so again, this is the last two cards of the deck. I got Krang and Shredder. So this is a 6/7 Utrom Human Ninja. Whenever Krang and Shredder enter or attack, each opponent exiles a card from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. And then it has the disappear effect. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, so again, that's your mutant tokens, map tokens, mobilize, whatever, if you sacrifice shit, that procs this. So if a permanent left the battlefield, again, that's also your fetch lands, whatever. So if a permanent leaves the battlefield, you may cast a creature, you may cast a card exile with Krang and Shredder without paying its mana cost. So you're getting a free freaking cost in that. This great. Again, the sucky thing is it costs 6 mana, but very powerful abilities. And to end out my version, I guess I'll call this version 1.0 of the deck, I have Raph and Mikey Troublemakers. So this is a 7 cost for 7/7 Trample Haste. Whenever Raph and Mikey attack, you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. And then the rest on the bottom of your library. So again, you're getting an extra body on board to get in, swing at your opponent, and then you can also ninjutsu it. You can sneak it, or just hit face with it. So freaking good. So again, it costs 7 mana, but it's very impactful for what it does. And again, I really like the art on this too. But there you have it. This is my version 1.0 of my Heroes in a Half Shell deck. Again, I named it Mutant Ninjas, but for the most part, it focuses on the ninja part of that archetype. It is so fun to play, especially when all your other shit goes off and you can, synergize with the stuff. It is so fun. So again, definitely try it out if you're curious. Tweak it to your personal needs. Again, this is how I feel, how I particularly play stuff right now. Again, tweak it to your needs. Let me know what you do in the comments. How you would change stuff, how you're feeling, whatever. Again, let's have a conversation about this stuff. But again, it is so freaking fun to play this. And it's so, like I said, again, it's so flavorful. It fits with the overall archetype of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's so good. So good. And so fun just to go out there and, do its thing. But there you go. Thank you for joining me on this deck profile video. I greatly appreciate it, Nerd Fam. I love you guys and gals out there. Thank you for watching all my BS stuff throughout all these years. I greatly appreciate it. Having said that, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, leave comments, and all that jazz. Until next time, fellow planeswalkers, Mary Jace, out. Cowabunga, dudes.